Okay, we're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. Will you please rise and join me in the pledge to our flag?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, let the record show that all board members are present and accounted for, with Trustee Cardona attending virtually. No actions were taken in closed session. I will now entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Trustee
Aye.
Cardona? Okay. Trustee Devine?
Aye.
Trustee Barnes?
Aye.
Trustee Hamilton Starks?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Motion carries unanimously. Right, now we'll move on to communications. Members of the public may address the Board of Trustees regarding any special board meeting agenda item during board consideration of that item. Please note that if you wish to address the Board of Trustees on an agenda item, you should do so when the specific item is called for by the board president. In order to comment in person, please fill out a request to be heard card and give it to the board assistant. Your name will be called during the public comment agenda item during that specific agenda item. Comments are limited to 2 minutes. To submit comment via Assembly Gamut meetings, enter your name and email address, and the board assistant will provide your comment to the board. And if you want to comment via YouTube, please comment in the live chat, and the board assistant will share your comment with the board as appropriate. Now is the time for individuals who want to address the board on an item that is not on the agenda. Please note that because it is not an agendized item, we cannot take action on that item. But note that we are listening, and we will, at the time appropriate, do what we can to try and address your concerns. With that, is there anyone who would like to address the board on an item that is not on today's agenda? Okay, so we'll go with one in person first. That would be Sabrina Oliver.
Good evening. I'm here today to share my experience with Right at School summer camp program. It was disappointing, to say the least. I shared some initial concerns relating to my child's IEP with Superintendent Chen, and I asked her to share those with the board as they are an additional example of their negligence. One day this summer, my child came home in noise-canceling headphones, signaling she was extremely overstimulated, and she wouldn't take them off for nearly an hour, which is highly unusual for her. When I finally got to talk to her about what happened, she told me the classroom was so noisy and full of screaming, and the teacher did nothing about it. She told me she had to have another student speak up for her and tell the other students to stop screaming because it was hurting her ears. She was so upset she didn't want to go back the next day, which is extremely disappointing and difficult to deal with as a parent who works. Luckily, we were able to keep her home, but that's not possible for everybody. When I brought her back, I spoke to one of their staff members and told them what happened. They offered a theory why one student might yell and stated that often the other students would join in this yelling, but didn't mention any kind of intervention from the teacher. And they said they would address it with the teacher. However, later I found out that this was not brought up with their director. Then the next week, my child came home practically in tears, telling me she had a bad day and that someone spit food in her face at lunch and that she was pushed several times. I asked her what the teachers did, and she said she was told to move seats. And that was it. I asked her if she took part in the pushing, just to see, and she said, no, not at lunch, but in the morning I did. And I wasn't called or notified or anything that my child was pushing other children. I should have been called and asked to pick her up if she's doing that. I wasn't notified at pickup about any of these incidents. A couple of days later, I tried to touch base with one of the camp directors, and he was unaware that any of these incidents had occurred and was really concerned. And I, too, am concerned that there's such limited communication amongst the camp staff that these kinds of things are happening and not brought to their director's attention. I think that you guys need to look further into Right at School's classroom management, communication, and disciplinary practices before signing any further contracts with them and going into the school year to ensure that there's safety and inclusion for all students in their program. I also recommend looking further into any survey data that they provide, as I did receive a survey at the end of camp, but I was unable to submit it despite trying several times, both on my mobile device and at a desktop. I eventually gave up. It just wasn't going to accept it. And I am concerned that other parents may also be unable to provide feedback due to the same error. And at the beginning of the summer, we also received no email communication from Right at School. We received one email in the middle of summer from Alexi with their contact information, but nothing from them like we received at the beginning of spring break. And so I really strongly recommend reviewing what they promised and ensuring that it's being delivered, because this summer was just a complete disappointment in the way that they handled all the children.
Thank you. I believe we have one online.
Yes, so the parent online, Maria Smith, says the following. Hello, this comment specifically applies to the ELP program plan attached to this agenda item. My child participated in the summer program ran by Right at School. We were disappointed with certain aspects of how the program was run. The biggest and most concerning item was that at no time did Right at School employee verify the identity of anyone picking up our children. There was 3 of us regularly picking up and a different employee at the checkout table most days. And not once were any of us asked for ID. This poses a huge security concern for my family and should be unacceptable practice for any providers servicing the district. In addition, we were disappointed by the lack of communication between Right at School and the parents, and the lack of structured activities for our children throughout the day. Given our experience during the summer program and our overwhelmingly positive past experience with START, I'm disappointed to see that Right at School included as a provider for this upcoming school year. End of comment.
Any additional comments? Okay, we'll now move on to reports, and we'll start with the Robla Education Foundation.
And I'll keep mine, as I expect others to keep theirs, briefly. Overall, with the fireworks booth, I'm just going to give you a preliminary report now. There will be a PowerPoint presentation at the next board meeting. I got to get it put all together and may have to get some assistance with that. But our retail sales this year was $30,054. Our profit was $11,912, and our total encumbrances was a total of $88,330, of which 3,330 of that is going to, as the volunteers in the booth designated their funds to go to, which I incidentally, you need to follow up and let me know.
Okay.
I think Mr. Barnes and both of you do too. Otherwise, it goes to strings. And we do have an upcoming strings grant of $4,000 and a terrific 10 grant of $1,000 for the upcoming year, which will be going before all those who worked in the booth earn those funds. And that gives us, after all of that's said and done, net profit $3,582, which will be used to the matching $500 mini grants throughout the school year. So there'll be a limited number of grants. I do not believe, I'm not going to advocate for the $1,000 grants like we've had in the past years. I want to keep them this year at $500 apiece, because I want to build the account back up a little bit more than what it is. My goal is that when I leave the scene, that there's still enough money in the account for 2 years of strings, a couple of years of the terrific 10, or whoever replaces me can follow on with. That's it for now, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you. Next, we have the Robla Teachers Association. CSEA. Superintendent's report.
Well, unfortunately, Mr. Raven, I'm going to need a little bit more time, so please bear with me. This is, I hear an echo, is it just me?
It's coming from Nuvia's.
Oh, okay. So I wanted to officially welcome everyone back. School starts next week, but I just wanted to share a couple things. We did have another successful summer. We had over 300 students participate in all our programs, ESY, Robla Summer, and Freedom School. Last Saturday was our Ready for Robla that we held at Bell Avenue. I thought it was a wonderful event. Thank you to all the volunteers as well as our partners who participated in this event for our families. 2 days ago, Robla Parks Association held their National Night Out at the Robla Community Park across from Taylor. We had a table there to advertise our schools as well as our preschool program. So we are exploring in opening a 2-year-old class. So anyone that's listening, if you are interested or want to get more information of enrolling your 2-year-old, and just a reminder, normally for preschool, our students are 3 years old, and this is separate from our partnership with First Five and Play Pals. So we are looking to open a 2-year-old class. If you are interested, please reach out to the preschool office for information. In terms of facilities, main construction is finishing up. We are not finished, but we will be okay to start the new year. The Taylor roof project is finishing up. It's not finished, but we are okay to start the new year. Good thing is the Glenwood and Taylor fabric shade structure project. Just to give history, 2024, right, we entered an agreement to provide fabric shade structure over the play structure at Glenwood as well as Taylor, right? And if you recall, part of the facilities master plan, the Taylor TK play structure needed shade, right? So I'm super excited to say there were a lot closer. We actually have a start of construction date for Glenwood. It would be September 2nd, and then once they finish with Glenwood, they'll move over to Taylor, approximately 28. And if you recall, the reason of the delay was the change in requirements from DSA. So we kind of approved the project, and then soon immediately after, DSA had more stringent requirements. And so again, it's been a very long process, but I'm super excited. I was hoping it would happen before school started, but we do have a definitive start date for Glenwood, so that's really nice. And then in the next few weeks, we will start a pre-K project. There is a play structure there that we are looking to remove and replace with different age-appropriate and more developmentally appropriate activities and equipment, let's just say. The structure there is very dated, right? And there's, while it is approved, it is an acceptable play structure, there are just spaces within the play structure that have brought some concerns, right? Because they are, while they are allowable gaps, right? Because our students are now younger and smaller, right? We think different equipment, new equipment now, new activities on the ground is beneficial, much more beneficial. Almost 2 more things. Back to school night is coming up. We have 3 sites that have their back to school night before school starts, right? So we have 3 sites that have back to school night on Monday, which is I think 5 days from now, August 10th, and that's Glenwood, Taylor, and Maine. And then Wednesday, August 26th, Bell will have their back to school night. And then Thursday, August 27th, Robla will have their back to school night. But just families know, I'm sure you got messages, but 3 of the sites have their back to school events prior to us starting school. And then I'm super excited just to continue to share our first ever district back to school. I'm calling it an extravaganza because I'm super excited. In our partnership with United Way, we will be giving, United Way has promised 2,000 backpacks for our Robla students. So that's a backpack for every student in our district, right? Please refer to the flyer that outlines the designated times for the schools, and this is just to help with the flow. And do not be concerned if your school is not the first school. There are plenty of backpacks. There are plenty of supplies. There'll be food, activities. We will have health screening and I think vision screening, health screening and vision screening. They'll have an opportunity if parents wanted to do back to school pictures, right? So they will have plenty. So again, if you are not the first school at 3 o'clock, it's okay. They are very prepared. We had a meeting today. They have over 2,000 backpacks, but they committed 2,000 backpacks to our Robla families. And if you receive one previously, right, this year for a different event, you are absolutely welcome and eligible. And I encourage you to come on Tuesday. Again, this is Tuesday, August 11th at Main Avenue. The whole event will be from 3 to 7 p.m. We have a system on how to get everyone in. It will just be very helpful if you stay within the times of your designated school. Okay. And then finally, our first day of school is Wednesday, August 12th. So thank you. That's the end of my report.
All right. We'll now move on to board member reports. We'll start with Trustee Cardona.
Nothing to report.
Okay. Trustee Devine.
Nothing to report.
Trustee Barnes.
Nothing to report.
Trustee Hamilton Starks.
Nothing to report.
All right. The only thing I have to report is I had an opportunity to attend Ready for Robla, which took place last weekend. Phenomenal event, really, really good turnout. Really appreciate everybody, staff and parents and family, everybody who showed up to help make it a really, really fun event. All the vendors want to say thank you to each and every one of you. You really made it a nice event. I'm also looking forward to next Tuesday with United Way. For those of you who had a chance to attend it when there was one at Glenwood last year, it was just for Glenwood. That was a huge event. So this one is going to be, when you say extravaganza, I think that is an appropriate description. Yes.
I apologize. I didn't say when preschool's back to school night is. Theirs is a little different. Theirs is actually tomorrow. They have an AM session from 11 to 1 and then a PM session from 4 to 6. So I apologize for leaving preschool out.
Thank you. And with that, we'll move on to the approval of the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Well, first of all, I'll entertain a motion.
So
Me
moved.
entertain a motion.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Is there something you wanted to speak to? Oh, yes, go ahead.
Yes, if I may. And good evening, everyone. So I'm really excited to report out to the board that we are fully staffed on our administrative and management team and fully staffed on our certificated team. And we are almost fully staffed on our classified team. So that's wonderful. But this evening, we have 3 special people that we wanted to put a face to for you. And we've asked them to come up and share a little bit about their story. We have 3 new administrators, one who's a familiar face, but the other 2 are brand new faces. So I'm going to first ask Sarah Newhouse to come up, and she's going to be our new Director of State and Federal Programs, and she has been hanging out in education for 28 years.
29, you shorted me one. 28 of them have been here in Robla. So first of all, good evening. Good to see all of you familiar faces. First of all, I want to say thank you for allowing me this opportunity to move into a director role in the district. I'm very excited about it. Again, having now started my 28th year in Robla, I have been a teacher here. I've been a principal here, and I'm excited to continue to support the Robla community, all of our school sites, all of our programs in this new capacity. And I do want to say thank you to Cindy Lyon, who I am replacing. Big shoes to fill. She's already been of great support. So thank you, Cindy, and good luck in your retirement. And I look forward to working with all of you in this new role as well. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so my next new friend has had over 20 years in education, all of it in the elementary side, has served in a number of capacities, but as an assistant principal and also a principal in administrative roles. And she is going to join us as our new Director of Curriculum and Assessment, and that's Joanne Curtis.
Me? Ooh, chilly. Good evening, President, board members, and superintendent. I want to thank you for this opportunity and for the trust you have in me. It's an honor to serve as the Director of Curriculum and Assessment. Just to share a little bit about myself, and Nicole did start, I do have 22 years of experience, all in elementary, as a classroom teacher, literacy coach, vice principal, and principal. And what I'm most passionate about education is there's nothing I love more than seeing the eyes of our students line up when they're excited about their learning. I was drawn to Robla because of the strong sense of pride and community. Robla has a culture where educators, families, and community partners, they come together. It's the integration of academics, family engagement, and the health and social services. And it's that whole child approach that's what I'm truly connected to. And I saw this firsthand. I was at that Ready for Robla event. What a wonderful community united experience. It was something that I very much connected to, and it brought what I read to life. Robla is a Title I community. My entire background is rooted in Title I communities. My passion is for educational equity and for student advocacy and ensuring that every child gets the opportunities and the exact resources they need to thrive. The other thing is I'm excited to serve our superintendent. Her leadership, she makes every decision with that student-centered approach and keeping in mind what's best for students. And that's directly aligned to my compass. Once again, I'm excited, I'm motivated by the work, and I'm looking forward to working collaboratively with the entire Robla team and the opportunity to simply serve our students, our staff, and our community. Very excited to be a part of Robla.
Thank you.
And that's my daughter.
And nice to meet you. Okay, last but certainly not least, I have another new friend. And she has over 20 years experience as well, and has served, of course, as a teacher, plus a variety of other roles, and as an assistant principal. And I think what was most unique that stood out to me on her application, well, one of the unique things was that she also has had the opportunity and was invited to be an administrator coach by the Sacramento County Office of Education. So it's an interesting lens that she brings. And I'm happy to welcome Partika Sharma to the new principalship at Maine.
Thank you so much. Good evening, President of the Board, members of the Board, Superintendent, Cabinet colleagues, and members of our community. My name is Pratika Sharma, and I'm truly honored and grateful for the opportunity to serve as the principal of Maine Avenue Elementary School. I want to thank the members of the board, district leadership, and the amazing panel members during the interview for the trust and confidence you have placed in me. I am excited to partner with our students, families, teachers, and staff to build on the great work already happening at our school. Every child can succeed when they are known, valued, challenged, and supported. My commitment is to foster a safe, inclusive, and engaging learning environment where all students feel a sense of belonging and are inspired to reach their full potential. I look forward to listening, learning, and working collaboratively with the entire school community to ensure every student has the opportunity to thrive. I am excited to begin this new journey to serve our students and families at Maine Avenue Elementary, and thank you so much for your time and this wonderful opportunity.
Thank you.
Okay, it appears we have public comment on the consent agenda.
Yes, we do. All right, so the first public comment comes from Annalisa. She says, "Good evening. I'm speaking tonight about the proposed appointment of Joanne Curtis as Director of Curriculum and Assessment. My concern is the message this sends to the people already working in Robla. We have administrators and instructional leaders who had spent years building expertise inside the district. They know Robla, they know the community, they know the academic needs of these students. So when a major leadership position is filled by someone with a longstanding professional connection to the superintendent, employees are going to ask whether internal experience really matters. And they should ask, what was the process? Who was considered? How many candidates were evaluated? Were internal applicants given meaningful consideration? Was a panel recommendation followed? Those answers matter for more than one appointment. This affects morale. This affects retention. This affects whether talented employees believe that they have a future in this district. If Robla wants to build a strong leadership, it has to show its own people that advancement is based on merit, performance, demonstratability, not familiarity, or previous professional connections." End of comment. The next comment is from Ruth. "Good evening. My comment is specifically about the proposed employment of Joanne Curtis as Director of Curriculum and Assessment. What concerns me is not simply that she comes from outside Robla, is that she comes from Superintendent Chen's former professional network. While this district already has experienced leaders who know our schools, our students, our families, and our instructional needs, they should immediately raise the question how the search was conducted. How many internal candidates were seriously considered? How did their qualifications compare? What did the interview panel recommend? What role did Superintendent Chen play in narrowing the field and selecting finalists? And how was her prior professional relationship with Ms. Curtis addressed during this process? Those are not small questions. This position affects curriculum, assessment, instructional direction, and the work of teachers across the entire district. The community should be able to see clearly that this appointment resulted from a fair and independent process. Right now, that clarity is missing. The board should insist on a complete explanation of the selection process, the comparative qualifications, and the safeguards used to ensure that the prior professional relationships did not influence the outcome." The next comment is from Andrew. "Good evening. If Joanne Curtis was a questionable, strong candidate, then demonstrating that should not be difficult. Show the board why. Show us what qualifications separated her from the other applicants. Show us the experience that made her the strong person to oversee curriculum and assessments across Robla. Show us how internal candidates compared. Show us what the interview panel concluded. Because right now, what the community can clearly see is something else. A candidate who has long-standing professional connection with Superintendent Chen is being recommended for a major leadership position. That naturally creates a question about favoritism and access. Those questions are not unreasonable. They are predictable consequences of circumstances, and the superintendent should have anticipated them. This is why transparent process matters. Robla employees should never wonder whether they lost an opportunity because another applicant had a prior professional relationship with the person making the recommendation. Parents should never wonder whether leadership positions are being used to recreate somebody else's former professional network. Merit should be visible. The selection process should be defensible. If the board can't clearly explain why Ms. Curtis was demonstratively stronger than Robla's own qualified leadership talent, then the process deserves further scrutiny before any final action is taken. Next, Melanie. Good evening. I think we need to stop pretending that the Superintendent Chen previous professional relationship with Ms. Joanne Curtis is irrelevant. It is relevant. They spent years working in the same district leadership structure in Pittsburgh Unified. When a superintendent recommends a former colleague for a major position in our current district, and the board should apply more scrutiny, not less. That is basic accountability. Did Superintendent Chen participate in screening applicants? Did she participate in interviews? Did she select the finalists? Did she receive a panel recommendation? Did she accept the recommendation? If she rejected it, why? Those are completely reasonable questions when the recommended candidate has a strong long-standing professional connection with superintendent. And this should concern Robla employees too. Imagine working in a district for years, building experience, understanding our programs, serving our families, then watching another leadership opportunity go to somebody from superintendent's former professional circle. People are noticing. This board should not be dismissive that the perception as gossip or negativity. Leadership creates perceptions through its own decisions. If the district wants the community to believe this process was completely merit-based, then prove it. The burden shouldn't be on district leadership. The burden should be on district leadership to demonstrate that the candidate earned the recommendation through independent process, not simply ask everyone else to trust them. Another comment by Elijah. Good evening. I want the board to understand that the staff members are paying attention to these leadership decisions. They may not all feel comfortable standing at this microphone. They may not feel comfortable attaching their names to criticism of district leadership, but that doesn't mean people aren't noticing. They notice when experienced people are leaving. They notice when positions open. They notice who interviews. And they absolutely notice when major positions go to people who already have professional connections with senior leadership. That affects morale. Why should a talented administrator invest years developing inside Robla if they believe somebody from the superintendent's previous professional network may have an advantage? That perception alone is damaging. This board should want employees to believe that advancement is based on performance, experience, leadership ability, and commitment to the district. So ask the difficult questions tonight. How many internal candidates were considered? How did their qualifications compare? What did the interview panel recommend? What role did the superintendent Chen have in the final decision? And what specific qualifications made Joanne Curtis stronger than the talented administrators already serving for Robla? Those questions should be answered before this board treats this recommendation as routine. Another comment, Gabriella. Good evening. I think we need to stop pretending that Superintendent Chen's previous professional relationship with Jan Curtis is irrelevant. It is relevant. They spent many years working in the same district in Pittsburgh Unified. When a superintendent recommends a former colleague for a major position in her current district, the board should apply more scrutiny, not less. That's basic accountability. Did Superintendent Chen participate in screening applicants? Did she participate in interviews? Did she select the finalists? Did she receive a panel recommendation? Did she accept the recommendation? If she was rejected, why? Those completely reasonable questions when the recommended candidate has a long-standing professional connection with the superintendent. And it should be concerned of Robla employees too. Imagine working in this district for years, building your experience, understanding programs, serving our families, and watching another leadership opportunity go by to somebody else from the superintendent's former professional circle. This board did not dismiss the perception of gossip or negativity. Leadership creates perception through its own decisions. If the district wants the community to believe this process was completely merit-based, then prove it. The next comment, Brian. Good evening. I have a very simple question tonight. Who is Robla developing for leadership? Because the district has experienced administrators who already know our children, our staff, our curriculum, our family, our challenges. We constantly hear about professional growth and developing employees. But when one of the most important instructional leadership positions becomes available, the recommendation is for someone from the superintendent's former district and professional network circle. What message does that send? Sarah Newhouse is proof that Robla can promote its own people into director-level positions. That should not be exception. Our employees should be able to look at district leadership and believe that there is genuine pathway upward based on the performance, qualifications, and commitment to Robla. Instead of situations like this making people wonder whether professional relationships outside the district carry more weight than years of service inside. This is an extreme damaging message. The board should demand to know exactly how internal applicants compare to Ms. Curtis, not vague assurances, actual qualifications, actual scoring, actual recommendations. Before another outside administrator with a prior connection to the superintendent is elevated into the district leadership. The community deserves to know why Robla's own talent was not the strongest choice. The next comment, Isabel. Good evening, board members. At some point, individual decisions begin to look at patterns. People in this community are noticing who leaves, who gets promoted, and who gets brought into the district, or where those people come from. Tonight, we are being asked to accept another major leadership recommendation involving someone who has a longstanding professional connection with Superintendent Chen from Pittsburgh Unified. That should not be simply brushed aside. The issue is not whether Joanne Curtis has worked in education. Of course she has. The issue is whether Robla conducted a truly independent search and whether our highly qualified employees actually had a meaningful opportunity to advance. Staff members talk about these things. Parents also talk about these things. And when people repeatedly see outside professional relationships appearing in important hiring decisions, it damages trust. The superintendent should not be able to simply recommend someone as she knows professionally and expect the board to accept that recommendation without examining every part of the selection process. Who were the finalists? What were their qualifications? What did the interview panel recommend? How were internal candidates treated? Those answers matter. This board should be protecting Robla's institutional integrity, not allowing another questionable hiring process to become business as usual. And then finally, Marcus. Good evening. What I find disturbing about this appointment is what it says to the people already working in Robla. We have talented principals, administrators, teachers, instructional leaders who spent years serving these students and families. They understand the district, they understand the community. They've built relationships here. Yet the person being brought forward for this major leadership position comes directly from superintendent's former professional network in Pittsburgh Unified. This deserves serious scrutiny. Superintendent Chen, Joanne Curtis have years of documented professional overlap. This is not some random candidate from across California whom the superintendent has never worked with before. So I want to know how the qualified Robla employees applied. How many were interviewed? How were they scored? Who made the recommendation? Did the superintendent follow the recommendation of the interview panel? Because employees are watching, parents are watching. People notice who gets opportunities and who gets passed over. Robla should be developing its own leaders instead of creating impressions of the best path into district leadership is having previous worked with the superintendent. This board needs to demand much stronger answers before moving forward. End of comment.
Yes.
So being intimately involved in this process, there are portions of it that I can speak to. What I can offer the board is in closed session, there are more areas in which I can open up because the interview process is a very confidential process in many ways. But what I can share is that the pieces I am allowed to share publicly are that we had 33 applicants for the position itself, 3 of whom were internal staff members. Of the internal staff members, 2 of them did not have nor did they qualify for their administrative credential at this point in time, although I know it's an aspiration of theirs. So they were automatically disqualified for that reason because we had both an internal and external candidates who already held or were eligible for their administrative credential, and this position requires that. The internal candidate who held the administrative credential was interviewed and was considered and did make top 3 rankings. The other piece of the process that I can share with you is the paper screening was conducted, the credential checking, and then the actual screening of experience and things was all checked by me, and then my team helped me pull and check and verify credentialing, okay? And then I did the final ranking of the paper screening based on experience at site level administration, the credentialing component, and then length of experience, and then recommendations. All candidates are required to turn in letter of recommendations as well. And then we selected 10 candidates for interview with 2 alternates, and 1 candidate declined interview. And so we did bring in one of our alternates. I will share with you, out of the group of 12 we picked, there were individuals who had previously held directorships, assistant superintendentships, as well as a superintendent position in their work history. And when, actually I can't share that piece, that would be something I'd have to share privately with the board. But when I think of the number of years of experience and then look at the types of positions held, even in teaching. We were also thoughtful around ensuring that candidates had some elementary-based experience, because working at a secondary level, there were some candidates who worked at a secondary level in their teaching who we weeded out, because it's very different. The standards are very different, and the requirements for curriculum and assessment are very different. And so some of those candidates were naturally pushed out if they had no elementary experience.
So I'm not sure, because this is all part of the consent agenda, is this something that we want to continue to discuss? If we do, then we would probably need to remove that item from the consent agenda and then discuss it separately. Or if the board is okay, since we already have entertained a motion, we can go ahead and approve it going forward. But what is the feeling of the board?
I do have a couple questions about what your role was in picking the people that were chosen.
Okay.
So maybe that would put the public's mind at either ease or validate their opinions.
The only thing is that if we're going to discuss this one particular one, then we probably need to,
Okay.
as opposed to holding up the entire consent agenda. Would that, I mean, does that sound like, as I understand it, that's what we would probably need to do. So with that, I would entertain a motion to, as I would say, to amend the motion to.
Will this mess up beginning of school year for next
No.
year regarding the new
No,
principal?
we can still discuss it, but what we'll do is we will pass the rest of the consent agenda, and then we will discuss that particular
Okay.
position.
Okay, just confirming. Oh, so moved.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we will adopt or approve the consent agenda minus,
You gotta make a motion, right?
yes,
Well, no, was there a second? I didn't hear a second.
oh yeah.
Someone has to,
I'll second it. We can take a discussion.
So it's been moved and seconded that we approve the consent agenda minus the appointment for curriculum and assessments. And then we will discuss that item following. Okay. Is there
In
any-
public or in closed session?
Oh, in public.
Public, okay.
Right. All right, with that, we'll move forward to a vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Trustee Cardona?
Aye.
Trustee Devine?
Aye.
Trustee Barnes?
Aye.
Trustee Hamilton Starks?
aye.
And Trustee Deleuze votes aye. Now, I will entertain a motion to, because we have that separately now, I will entertain a motion to appoint Joanne Curtis as Director of Curriculum and Assessment.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion. Said you had some questions.
Okay, so this is, regarding the one that you've had okay. So I would like to know what influence you had for the public's, self-interest, like what influence you had on choosing her.
Well, what I can share is we did have an interview panel of 7 staff members, which included myself, the superintendent, another person from my team, and it included the secretary who supports the department and has been supporting the department for some time, so a good lens there. And it included a principal, and one of our classified administrators. There was 7 of us. And how we conduct interviews is everybody receives the same questions. We had a group of 13 questions, as I recall, and we spent about 45 minutes interviewing the candidates themselves. We do a scoring process as each question is answered that gets recorded in a Google Sheet, basically. And then notes are taken independently so that when we have a conversation at the end, we have the opportunity to recall all the things the candidates shared. And then as we are working through the interviews, at the end of each one, we have what's called a force ranking sheet. And how that works is when you see candidate one, they're always the number one person when you start out because you have nobody to compare them to. And then when you get to the second candidate, each person independently on the panel ranks either number one or number two. Either the first person continues to stay number one or they become number two and the second person is more favored by that panel member. And that goes on through the rest of the interview, and that's a practice that we have in Robla. And what that does is it quickly narrows the field and allows us to see who our top candidates are. Then we have the opportunity as a panel to discuss the top candidates and come to consensus. Okay? And so,
Can you clarify who does a screening of the applicants and who determines which applicants were offered an interview? I think that was the question. I think there's a question of who determines which applicants are given an interview.
I do the bulk of the screening. I typically ask one of my teammates to help me verify credentialing or like if it's a classified position that they have the appropriate transcripts on file. But in this instance, I had them go on CTC's website to ensure the person truly had the correct credential. And then I go through each application, all the resumes, all of the letters of recommendation, and then I create a ranking system for the interview process.
And was Ms. Chen involved in interviewing?
She was involved in the interview itself, but not the paper screening.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions?
Yes. So we've recruited we've promoted internally, we've recruited externally. Were there any anomalies between this recruitment and any other recruitments?
No, and I can speak to the fact that there have been past appointments recently in the administrative team where there was, not with Superintendent Chen, but with the previous superintendent, a longstanding relationship as well. It's, and we have promoted from internal, as you can tell by example with Sarah's situation. In fact, who she's taking over for, Cindy Lyon, was promoted 16 years ago or so. I'm looking for the head, yes. So she was promoted from a teaching role into this position about 16 years ago. All four of my assistant principals were promoted from teaching positions in the last 4 years. 1, 2, 3. 4 of my current principals, sorry, Sarah, you've been a principal for a while. 4 of my current principals were promoted from teaching positions. So yes, promoting from within happens quite often.
I don't know that I necessarily have a question, but more of a comment. Number one, having been on the board now for almost 22 years, I know that we've always made it a priority and always look to hire internally, and always encourage our staff and our employees internally. Every time we have a leadership position that comes available, whether it was with our prior superintendent or with our current superintendent, I know that I know my fellow board members inquire if anyone internally applied. We like to know where they wound up in the process and what that process was like, because we want to make sure that we do have an emphasis on that. But I also want to make sure that we understand that it's important to hire the best person for the job. And on so many of the comments, I heard people talk about having a prior relationship or a prior professional relationship as if it were a bad thing. I think, to me, what it says is that if there were red flags, if there were areas to be concerned, if anybody would know, she would know. We would know internally. I think, just like with any good sports team, right? When you hire a new head coach, that new head coach hires their own staff. And I think the fact that we've done so much in the area of uplifting and bringing up people from within the district, as well as looking at talent outside of the district, I think bodes well for what we're able to provide to our students. I can tell you once again, transparency for us is important, but also understand this is a personnel decision. And there are so many legalities that go into that, so many things that, quite frankly, we are not allowed to discuss. But I can guarantee you, I can tell you that in closed session, many of the questions that were asked by our commenters are asked by us, the board, that we do look into. We do make sure that that transparency that we have as much transparency as we can. So anyway, I just wanted to make sure to share that. Okay, is there any further discussion?
I just also want to make a comment too. That first of all, I appreciate all of the comments that have come in. I think that's a way that we get our voices heard by expressing these comments. And so thank you for everyone who sent a comment in because I think it's very important. I also want to give a shout out to Nicole. Like, I think that you do a very great job of ensuring that we stay in compliance, and assuming that it's, working that things are fair. For all this time that I've been working with you and being here, like I have just been all of your detail orient, how you're so detail oriented and how you are thoughtful in the ways that you do your job. So big shout out to you and thank you for all of the work that you do. And I want you to know that I can't speak on behalf of the other board members, but I trust you and I trust that you do a good job. So thank you so much for that. And I just trust that this is going to be a good fit for us. And I am excited to see where the district goes from here. But I really am excited, and I hope that the teachers and staff and community trust that we do ask lots of questions, and we are very protective over our district, and we do want to make sure that the best person has the job. So thank you, Nicole.
A couple final comments. I appreciate the comments that have come forth tonight, and also I appreciate the comments that President Blue stated, because I think that that's something that needed to be stated. And we do often, we ask the tough questions. I also want to reiterate what Trustee Hamilton Stark said and give a shout out to Nicole. I've worked with you for a very long time, and you are the epitome of integrity, and you've done your job quite well. I've never seen any reason to doubt that, and just want to make sure you've been able to speak freely and say everything that you wanted to say tonight.
I did, and I appreciate the comments.
Any additional discussion or debate? Hearing none, we will move forward.
Wait. Hold on. One thought to let the public know. So there was a rubric used in order to pick this individual, correctly?
Two, actually, yes.
Two rubrics. Did were any of the things on the rubric associated with the relationship with Eileen? And did she have any undue influence on them being picked over other candidates?
No to both questions.
Thank you.
All right. Any additional discussion or debate? Hearing none, we'll move forward to a vote. All those in favor will say aye. All those opposed will say nay. Trustee Cardona.
Aye.
Trustee Devine.
Aye.
Trustee Barnes.
Aye.
Trustee Hamilton Starks.
Aye.
And Trustee Deleuze votes aye. Motion carries unanimously. We'll now move on to presentations and information. By the way, congratulations and welcome to the Robla family. All right, presentations and information. The 2025-26 charter school update for New Hope Charter.
All right. Can you all hear me? Okay. All right. My name is Harinder Pagani. I'm executive director. My voice is almost gone. We just did our parent orientation. This is our second day of school, and so but thrilled to be here. Thank you also to Superintendent Chen and to the board for allowing me to do this presentation tonight as opposed to June, so I could be with my family. We lost a couple of family elders in June, so thank you all for this time. It's always an honor and a pleasure to be with the Robla family, so I'm looking forward to sharing our annual update. Normally, again, we do this in June, and also we have some special guests here that I'll introduce in just a moment. Thank you. So as always, our mission and vision stays the same, just providing a safe, nurturing, and supportive learning environment that will empower students to maximize their academic potential. So we can have graduates who are empowered to be independent, determined, and compassionate global leaders who think critically, collaborate, and serve. That's equally important for us because it's not just about their academics, it's also about the heart, the character that we're developing. So that remains the same, and our focus for growth. Last year, we really moved forward with growing more and more independent. This was our 5th year that we just completed for New Hope Charter. Began reporting independently around CalPAD, CBEDS, and all the different systems that have to be in place to do that. We've built those. Many of our staff and, of course, several of our board members have been watching this journey since we started up this program over the last 5 years. So we're thankful for your support as we've slowly grown into this independence. For special ed purposes, this is an important area for our school and our district. We moved into a partnership and accepted membership into the El Dorado Charter SELPA. This was always the idea, is that we started with the County Office of Education, but have moved into moving with the Charter SELPA, just for additional support and specifically around professional learning for our team. 3 years ago, we completed successfully a special education cyclical monitoring audit process. That's a very thorough, detailed process that the state of California started. We were the first ones out of the gate in this district and in the county, SCOE Charter SELPA for this district. And that cycle is coming around again this year. So we get to have another audit process, and we're ready for it. The other thing that we implemented a couple of years ago, actually, was just an after-school program. Our focus is really on academic tutoring. We want to enhance our students' learning, challenge them to grow during our after-school program as well as providing an arts enrichment and really just giving our students a well-rounded education. We also, for the first time, really formally have a sports league that we're participated in. And so now the good news is that we won the soccer and flag football championships as well as street soccer, which is great. Hopefully they won't ask us to leave now because we started winning as soon as we got into the league. So our kids, again, are getting a well-rounded education. Again, our first day of school was August 5th, so just 2 days ago. We've had a great start, not only with our teachers and staff. They reported back before the first day of school, of course, but our students are engaged, our families, and they're excited just as we are. This is our community, very diverse, not only ethnically diverse, but linguistically, just like our district, very diverse. We've had as many as 20 languages spoken on our campus, just like in the district. But again, we also serve a high percentage of students who are English learners, 32% last year. We actually, this year, have about 36% of our scholars. I just want to acknowledge Cindy. I know you're sitting in the room here. I remember my very first meeting with the cabinet and the superintendent, and Ms. Lyon grilled me on questions about what are you doing? What are you going to do for English learners? What are you going to do? And then the special ed director, how are you guys going to serve students with disabilities? I think we're doing a really good job there, and I think we're going to continue that focus, of course, but we're always looking at how can we get better, and so I'm going to show you some data in a moment. These are our board members. This is also an important part of our community. So we have Kim Howard, former Robla trustee, who's on our board and has been on our board for 5 years. Ruben Reyes, former superintendent, is on our board as well. So very much a Robla-themed board as well, because that's where we came from, and that's where we're going to keep our focus. Lisa Fong, also, who is an instructional coach and K-12 educator in Elk Grove Unified, is on our board. So 3-member board, but as we grow, perhaps we will grow the board out as well. Now I want to focus on our school goals specific to last year and also just in this 3-year cycle with the LCAP. The LCAP really helps us to focus on what we're doing, what our focus is for our scholars, and just school-wide, what we're focusing on. So these are our goals. So we have 3 goals, similar to any good cycle of learning and growth and improvement. We followed the 3-year cycle. We started 2 years ago, just looking at our goals, looking at what What are we doing well? What can we do better? And this past year was year 2 of this cycle of the LCAP. And this year is the final year, and we'll continue to just evaluate, look at ourselves in the mirror in all of our programs and in all of our ways that we are impacting students' lives. And again, what can we do better? So I want to really just share these goals, and I'm going to show you an example because it's our job to bring new hope to you all. You all may not get to see it, feel it, hear it, but tonight I hope that you will experience that. So our 3 goals are academic, performance. Basically, how do we support our teachers to give them the tools, the training, the time to really impact the lives of our students? How do we help our students to be their best? We create an environment, the school climate, that's goal 2, that really supports our staff, our students, our families to really feel safe. If you feel safe, then you can focus on your learning and a sense of belonging and continue to challenge our students, as I'm going to show you here in a moment, academically as well. But none of that happens without strong parental involvement. So those 3 goals, we're constantly monitoring and collecting data and focusing on what can we do better. These are some of the 3 goals and some of the bright spots. So our English learner progress indicator grew over 5 percentage points into the green performance level, over 15-point growth in ELA, as well as a 10-point growth in math. Now, we still have a lot of work to do in those 2 areas, but definitely moving in the right direction. But look at our goal 2 around our culture and our climate. Chronic absenteeism, suspension rates continue to go down. Our students, 92.8% feel safe at school, which is, again, goal number 2. 94% feel a sense of connectedness and belonging. Our students, we survey them. Every student pretty much participates in it because we do it in our advisory class. They are happy to share their opinions. Our students are not shy about telling us how they feel, which is great. And you see our continued growth of areas of growth. Decreasing those absenteeism. We want all students to come to school every day, and we want to make sure that we're continuing to provide an environment where students continue to thrive. Again, just feedback from our families, you can see they're equally strong, and we just want to continue to grow by offering parents more opportunities. So I mentioned these 3 goals: academic, our achievement, our culture and climate, and then our parent engagement. What I really want to do is just share with you, if I can give like 2 minutes, 46 seconds, I will on this. And I think, Mr. Burgess, you're not the drivers, or who's driving? Ramon or Chuck? Chuck, okay. Chuck, I want to go to Yodetsi's conference. This is a student-led parent-teacher conference. So we have parent-teacher conferences in every school. Oftentimes in middle school, parents kind of fall off their engagement with their students' learning. So we had to do something to really engage our parents as well as our students taking ownership of their learning. So, before you go there, Chuck, oh, you got it, okay. So when we did that, we really also pushed our students and challenged them, as I said, academically and in their own ownership of their learning through this process. So you're going to see a clip of a scholar, 2 parents, and one of our teachers. And this scholar is going to share her goals, going to share where she was at the beginning of the year from her LPAC testing, the English Learner Assessment, as well as her her results on the CASP, English, math, and so forth, and where she's at in terms of her goals progress. This is taken from November. We did this again in March. So we did it twice last year, and this is a practice based on our LCAP process that we implemented with feedback from our staff and our students and our parents. So Chuck, can we play that video, please? Oh, okay. Okay, thank you. So we can't play that. So I'm going to actually introduce my student here, Yudetsi, and her father. Alfonso, come on up here for a moment, and I'll let them actually speak. So unfortunately, we aren't able to play that. So what these students do, again, is they set goals, they collect all throughout the year and all throughout this process, data on their progress. And then they're sitting in this conference, and this scholar is a seventh grader. Now she's an eighth grader, Yeretsi is. We do a certificate of biliteracy for students, where they can earn that by the time they finish eighth grade. This scholar, and why I really wanted to show you the video, but that's okay, we'll save it for another time. She earned the biliteracy certificate in seventh grade. That's the first scholar that we've had who did that. So I want to introduce Alfonso, come on up here. Yeretsi, come on up here. And you can share a little bit about your experience so far, whether it's student-led conferences or just in general.
Okay, my experience with New Hope Charter School has been great. I think they have provided a safe environment for us and all of the scholars. I think that my goals this year are to grow even more than I have last year. Last year I reached a 4 in English in my CAT scores, which is a huge growth for me because I am not a native English speaker. And I think that New Hope Charter School has really helped me get to the goals I wanted to reach by the end of last school year, and has really helped me to understand challenging language that I probably didn't understand at the beginning of the school year last year. I also did do the biliteracy program last year. It was a great experience. My Spanish teacher taught me a lot of Spanish I did not know. It was great. She taught me so much. I can't even explain it. It was a huge amount of growth in my Spanish vocabulary. And during my conference that I had, student-led, I actually speak in 2 languages. I translate everything I said for my mom in Spanish, and I also said some things in English for my dad. And I really try to translate both things and try to say both things at both different languages. And I also wanted to state that the teachers in New Hope Charter School really do care, and they're really good at communicating with students. They have stayed after school with me, helping me understand things I don't understand, reaching points of the class I probably didn't understand while they were giving the lecture. They have helped me so much throughout the whole year, and I hope this year is great as well. Thank you.
You. Good evening, everybody. My name is Alfonso Luna, and I am very honored to be here, and I am very honored to have her as my daughter. When we were taught about, she's going to middle school, everybody around me told me to put her on a bigger school, because they wanted her to be ready for high school. And I don't know why, but I always thought that, whatever my gut is telling me. So I put her on charter school. And that's the biggest assert that I did for her. Because one thing that I learned is that it's a small school with a great team, big team. They have very, very good people there, great teachers. They care about every single student. They don't let anybody behind. They even care about me as a parent. They always, they see the future for them, and that's what I want. Something about me is that I push my daughter to a very, very, very high standard. We're actually thinking about high school already. When I went to high school, I only went three years because I had so many credits and I had so much going on that I went to college right away. That's what I really want for her. I want her to become the bigger, whoever she wants to be. And I think New Hope is actually helping her so much. The communication there, it's amazing. It's great. They always help communicating with us through Parent Square, phone calls. I actually have some of the professors' personal phone numbers. I'm very, very into the school, and I like that. Um, I think by now I know that she's ready to go to high school. I know her and I'm very proud of her. Uh, she did amazing last year. She had straight A pluses to all the three semesters. She got a 4.0 all year, and that's because of her. A little bit because of me, because I'm Mexican. I'm on top of her, and but the teachers. I mean, Mr. Kong, Mr. Pagani, everybody. So thank you very much for the opportunity of me talking here. I appreciate all single of you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
We actually have one more amazing parent here as well, G. Talor. G is extraordinary parent because we actually now have served two of our scholars who are in high school, two of our students. One is in 8th grade now, and one is in 7th grade now. So we're on number 3 and number 4. So G also serves, I don't know how she has this time, but she also serves on our school site council. So G, please.
Hi, my name is Jade. I actually love New Hope because growing up, I go to a public school, which is more of a bigger environment. So I told my kids, coming from Robla Elementary School, it's a lot smaller. I see that my kids learn more. So I decided, okay, I'm going to put you into charter school. It's actually a smaller school. I actually loved it. The teachers are fantastic. They're great with communications. Take my oldest child, for example. The school's gated. I'm going to put her in the spot. I always do. She decided to cut class. She goes stand in the bathroom. And the moment the teacher messaged me, she said, hey, she missed an assignment. She didn't come to school today. I was like, I asked her and I said, you went to school. I picked you up. So how did you miss the class? You know, they're really good. So I communicate with them. They're like, oh, you know, she come and do the makeup test. And I did address with the teachers like, hey, you know, if she needs to do community service, pick up trash around the school, that's a punishment. I go for it. But eventually they didn't. I also love the no cell phone policies because the moment the kids walked in, they either turned the cell phone to the office or the teachers, and then at the end of the day, they picked it up. My kids actually learn a lot more, especially my two oldest. Now that they went off to high school, they kind of have a good time, but my daughters start to like have her phone. And I was like, hey, the teacher said you're messing with your phone. She go, well, because they don't collect their phones. And everybody around us sits in class and touch the phone. And I said, okay, you need to put your phone away. I love that. I would actually love for New Hope to have high school. Because that's how much I want to stay in the New Hope charter schools. I would love, if they have a high school, I would put all my kids into high school with New Hope. I definitely would. The teacher communication is amazing. Like if your kids miss something, they will contact you, right? I have a kid who's actually an IEP. I was kind of nervous because now he's actually 8th grade. I was nervous him going to 7th grade because he has an IEP. Okay, what I'm going to do? You know, like my first child IEP, I want to know if the school's going to be able to accommodate him. They actually did a fantastic job of accommodating. Especially when they have fall breaks. It's a longer break. They reached out to me, say, hey, your child's doing good, but we will recommend him to come a week for just a one-on-one session. I opt for it. I said, yes, you offered. I go for it because he's an IEP. He needs that. I also, you know, have other parents with my other child. I talked to the other parents. They were kind of upset with their kids, but because their kids also miss out a lot on school. And with that, I even told the parents, if your kids miss out a lot of school, you can't expect the teacher to just give your child a grade. And that just goes to all school and standard, not just because it's a charter school. And the school did offer the parents to have the kids stay after school to, you know, improve the grades, but the parents opt out on that. So like I told the mom, that's between you and your child. You can't really get blame down the school. But overall in general, New Hope is awesome. I love it. If they have a high school, I would have my kids go to high school there. That's all I have.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to show, like, we have these goals, we have all these numbers and data and so forth, but these are real parents, real students, real scholars, really who are the embodiment of everything that we're trying to do and the epitome of it. I want to introduce Mr. Khan. You heard his name mentioned. And he basically, Mr. Khan, has been with Robla School District and also with New Hope. So he knows this district, he knows the students and the families really well. That's helped us tremendously. So Mr. Khan, please come share your thoughts, sir.
Thank you, everyone. Last time I was here, me and the mic, we really didn't get along, so I'm going to step back and hopefully my volume projects better. I'm happy to be here. Mr. Pagani is going to go through a lot of data, and we're almost done. We appreciate your time and patience, but it's been such a great process for me to be the director of New Hope Charter School and to really see the growth year to year of the school, the students, the staff, the program. It's just been amazing to be a part of all of that. And, it was so nice to be able to start as a coordinator in Robla, work with Dr. Gutierrez, work with some of these people here with, Cindy Lyon and really get the ELD component really in place for New Hope Charter. And as you look through the data, there's a lot of hard work and sweat that has gone into the program. Some gray hair along the way as well. But we are moving in the right direction, and we, are continuing to get better. We self-assess really at the hardest level on our own, and we're really pretty hard on ourselves. But the parents here represent the program. They're speaking from the heart, and that's who our parents are, and they show up, and that's all we could ever ask from them. So I'm going to step aside. That last point on this slide until and Harinder will move on, is the Khan report. It's just kind of a fun way for us to share updates and different things through social media with our families, and they're sort of engaged on it. So I'm sort of quietly becoming like a micro-influencer somehow. So if you can check it out, it's pretty cool. But it's a fun way for me to get staff involved and for us to share reports and different things with parents through other outlets than just Parent Square or the website. So thank you for your time.
All right, thank you. I'll briefly go through our data. This is from the spring 2025 dashboard. We have our data back. We've been going through it all summer. It's not public, so I won't say too much, but I will say a few things because I can't help it. I got to share some data. So I mentioned the goals around chronic absenteeism. Man, when we started 4 years ago, it was around 30% of our students were chronically absent. Last year was 21.6. Our data this year, 10.8%. So you see the trend. Suspension rates continue to go down. We just completed our CalPADS process. 6.25% will be our number. Again, that's our, just based on our prediction, our reporting. So we're in you see the arrow pointing to yellow. Hopefully that goes over to the green. But the bottom line, more important for us, is just that our students are growing by leaps and bounds. English learners, we made progress to extend that out further as well. We're already in the green for our English learner progress. Cindy Lyon, I hope that's okay. All right, thank you. So we continue to work and strive. English learners like Yaretsi, whom you heard from, that's what they're capable of. All of our students are capable of doing amazing things. We just have to find a way to do that. We still got a lot of work to do with our English language arts, with our math. That's not something that sits well with us. So we're going to continue to push through on that. So just a quick point.
I have a question.
Yes.
Am I right? Can you go back to the other slide?
Yeah, sorry. I'm trying to.
Okay.
I got it. Yeah,
am I wrong to assume that the data at the top is only for Hispanic students, because for some reason you have Hispanic students broken out at the bottom?
So it's not just for, great question, Trustee Hamilton-Starks. It's not. The reason why it's only broken out, and we take this from the dashboard from the Department of Ed, and the reason why it's not broken out further is it depends on the number of kids that are in a group of African American or white students or Asian students. So if it's not numerically significant, as they call it, they won't publish that data publicly. So, but this encompasses all of our students.
Okay, and so like that was the reason why you
Correct.
highlighted them on the bottom because.
Correct. So we just took it straight from the Department of Ed's website.
Okay, and I guess my other question to you is like looking at the piece where you kind of broke it out. I'm just wondering if there is an opportunity at some point to like maybe put hard numbers next to these percentages. Because if something is significant, is not, significant, like what is 13%? Is that 4 students, 5 students, or, what is that number that makes it so that they don't have to be broken out into this data set?
Thank you. That's a great point. And so we'll do that. When we give our update for this year, definitely we'll add that in. And again, being a small school, that percentage can change very quickly with 1 or 2 students in the category, but we'll definitely do that. Thank you for that. All right, I'm back with my remote here. So this is just our LCAP financial snapshot. We do the budget overview for parents. So it's just taken from the most recent LCAP that we just finished and our board approved. Again, with input from our parents, our students, and our staff, and our community. So we have a budget about total expenditures of about $3 million, and so total budgeted in the LCAP, and then also broken out by expenditures for high-need students. So I had another slide, but I left it out for now. But I can go deeper with this. But just our overall budget summary for the end of last year and beginning this year, we have about 164 enrolled students, so about a 95% ADA, about 156 students roughly who attend every day. We've done, starting up a new school, it's a lot of work and it's a lot of costs on the front end. So what we've done is slowly but surely over the course of the last 5 years, have really pushed to get to a positive balance, which we will at the very latest by 27-28 at the end of that school year, but we're actually on track to have a net positive asset or net asset balance, positive net asset balance by the end of this year, the way things are trending for us. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that in our budget, we have not put any grants, any fundraising, nothing. It's just based on our 164 enrolled students and just straight LCFF and federal funding. That's it. So very, very conservative. That's what's allowing us to really get to that positive balance. Last but not least, this board gave us the opportunity to restructure our facility loan in June of 2025. And at that meeting, President DeLuce, you said, hey, make your payments. I just want to know, sir. I want you to know that we're there, sir. So on track. And so it's something that we're very proud of and we will continue to do.
Thank you.
Any questions or comments? I'll just say it's been, from the time the very first time we got together, I really just appreciated how you worked collaboratively with the district to create a school that really worked with us to make sure that that there was a quality place for our students to go within the Robla community. It was a vision of a number of my fellow board members, or my colleagues, and you helped to make that come to pass. And I want to thank you. I want to say how much I appreciate the work that you're doing, and looking forward to even better things ahead.
Thank you so much. Thank you all for your support as well, because we can't do it without your support. Thank you.
Okay, we'll now move on to action items. Okay, item A, approve the 2026-27 Declaration of Need for Fully Qualified Teachers.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion?
Yes, I would just like to share that this is an annual requirement of the California Commission on Teacher Credentialing. If we have individuals who are either supporting us as a long-term substitute on a 30-day substitute teacher permit or in an internship program, or have other types of credentialing needs, we must have this on file with the CTC so that their service can be approved.
Any additional discussion or debate? Hearing none, we'll move forward to a vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Trustee Cardona.
Aye.
Trustee Devine.
Aye.
Trustee Barnes.
Aye.
Trustee Hamilton Starks.
Aye.
Trustee Deleuze votes aye. Motion carries unanimously. Item B, authorize the employment of Veronica Castellan as a special day class teacher, primary grades on waiver for an intern education specialist, extensive support needs credential.
So moved.
Second.
Moved to second. Discussion?
Yes, if I may, this is a little bit of a unique circumstance. In Robla, we've only ever approved 2 of these before. The last one was about 14 years ago. And what this is a waiver because Veronica has one more step before she can be in her internship program fully, and she's actively working on that. This is a very difficult to recruit for position, just to help the board understand the recruitment efforts on this. We've actually had the position open since February and advertised publicly. I've attended several different career fairs that involve teachers, and in total, we received 5 applications outside of hers, 2 of whom didn't even hold a special education credential, 3 of whom did hold the appropriate credential. 1 declined us for interview, 1 declined the offer, and then the other one never returned our call. So it is a challenging position for districts across the board, not just us. The waiver is 1 step below an internship program, so we must do our due diligence and prove to CTC that we've done everything we could to recruit a highly qualified candidate. I will share with you that she was selected for this because she has in the past in Washington Unified School District served 2 years on a long-term substitute teaching assignment in the same type of program under a PIP and a STIP. We've discussed those before, those lovely acronyms. And so she was very successful in that role. Plus, prior to that, she was actually an instructional assistant for us in our special ed and also our intervention programs. So we have a familiarity with her skill set. And last year, she was a long-term sub in our first grade at Main Avenue for most of the year through February. And then she served as a long-term sub in our PE role at Bell to finish out the year. So we feel very confident in her ability to manage this classroom and help the students succeed.
Any additional discussion or debate? Hearing none, we'll move forward to a vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Trustee Cardona.
Aye.
Trustee Devine.
Aye.
Trustee Barnes.
Aye.
Trustee Hamilton Starks.
Aye.
Trustee Deleuze votes aye. Motion carries unanimously. Item C, approve 2026-27 consultant/professional services agreement with EJ Workforce for leadership coaching and consulting services.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion.
This is a contract to provide support for our administrators.
Any additional discussion or debate? Hearing none, we'll move forward to a vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Trustee Cardona.
Aye.
Trustee Devine.
Aye.
Trustee Barnes.
Aye.
Trustee Hamilton Starks.
Aye.
Trustee Deleuze votes aye. Motion carries unanimously. Item D, approve 2026-27 expanded learning opportunity enrichment providers contract and after-school education and safety update.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Discussion.
Good evening, board. Good evening, everyone. Tonight, I'll be doing a quick presentation, really quick. Just a couple updates about our ELOP and ACES plans. These updates are before you because first, it's required as part of the ACES.
Sorry, can you introduce yourself for the public?
Hi, my name is Alexios Vakis, the Expanded Learning Coordinator for the Robla School District. And again, I'll be presenting our ELOP and ACES plan updates that we have. These updates are before you because they are required as part of our ACES and ELOP plan requirements. Any changes to our enrichment programming, including the addition of enrichment providers, must be reflected in our program plans and brought forward for board approval. So this presentation serves 2 purposes: to meet that compliance requirement and to share the exciting direction we have for our expanded learning programs. Both of our program plans, ACES and ELOP, have been fully refreshed for the new 3-year cycle, and one vision drives both of them. First, expanding access. This year, we're offering more seats, more programs, more grade levels served than ever before at every single school site and at no cost to families. Second, unique opportunities from the arts to athletics to music to hands-on enrichment. Our students are gaining the experiences that extend well beyond the traditional school day. Third is data-informed programming. District assessment now drives and guides after-school programming with reading and mathematics woven into activities to align with the instructional school day and support student progress. And then fourth, strengthened oversight. Both program plans have been fully refreshed with strengthened systems for safety, attendance, and compliance, supporting every program we offer. And for my favorite part, I'm pleased to announce our new enrichment providers for the Robla School District. We have 3 returning ones based on demand we saw last year from parent input. First, we have Dance Remixes coming back, bringing cultural dance instruction with styles and traditions from around the world and showcase performances for our families. Top Stitch is coming back, teaching students foundational sewing techniques as they complete their own projects and build focus, precision, and creativity. And food literacy is also coming back with hands-on nutrition education and food preparation workshops that build healthy habits for life. Joining them is a new provider this year, Flawless Boxing, offering non-contact boxing fitness that develops coordination, endurance, discipline, and confidence. They're also local to Sacramento. I also want to highlight the important structural change we have in these providers and how they operate. In the past, enrichment providers have been directly brought through individual site programs. Now these programs are subcontracted directly by the district. Rather than access depending on programs, the student now has the option to enroll and be part of these programs and not excluded based off program. It expands access and it builds equity in our programming by design, and it gives the district direct oversight of quality, safety, and compliance from these providers. Altogether, that's 1,300 enrichment seats across all 5 schools at no cost to families. And students enrolled in core after-school programs, I want to be clear, can also enroll in these enrichment programs, so families don't have to choose one or the other. I'm also proud to announce something Robla has never had before, our first ever intramural co-ed sports clubs featuring flag football, volleyball, soccer, and basketball. These clubs are designed by co-ed on purpose. You know, they take place right at each school site. Every student has the opportunity to learn the game, practice, and play alongside their classmates. Access is the driving purpose here. Many of our students have never had the opportunity to play in organized sports. Cost, transportation, and tryout selection are real barriers for families, and this program removes all of them. Beyond the game themselves, this is about the experience, the teamwork, the sportsmanship, the school pride, and the lasting memory of being part of a team. Thank you for your time this evening and for your continued support in our expanded learning programs. These plan updates keep us in compliance, and most importantly, they reflect programs that are growing in access, equity, and opportunity for all of our students. Happy to answer any questions.
Questions?
No questions, a comment. Just want to thank you for all your hard work, and the superintendent Chin has said numerous times how much work you've put into this, and I can tell how complicated it is to try to balance everything and make everything just right, and also provide all these wonderful services for our kids. So thank you for all the hard work you put in, and of course the superintendent Chin too. But she did say specifically how much work you put into this.
Thank you so much.
You said that we provide 1,300 enrichment seats across 5 schools. Historically, how many seats have we provided for expanded learning?
Just like the main core for enrichment, it's always been directly through our subcontracted after-school program, so we don't have a number on enrichment seats. But, in regards to core after-school programming, I'll probably have to get back with the specific number, but I know we've drastically increased access, especially since we added the morning program last year. It's just the numbers have drastically improved.
Yeah, I know we have. If you could get back to me with those numbers, that'd be great.
100%.
Any additional discussion or debate?
Can you say out loud the names of the companies this contract is for?
Yeah, so we have Top Stitch, we have Food Literacy, we have Dance Remix, Then we have flawless boxing.
Perfect, thank you. I just wanted it on record. With everything going on.
All right, any additional discussion or debate? Hearing none, we'll move forward to a vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Trustee Cardona.
Aye.
Trustee Divine.
Aye.
Trustee Barnes.
Aye.
Trustee Hamilton Starks.
Aye.
Trustee Deleuze votes aye. Motion carries unanimously. Item E, approve 2026-27 professional services contract with Language World Services, district-wide translation and interpreting services.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion.
Good evening, Board. We have had a contract with Language Line for over 20 years, and that contract was originally through the County Office of Education, so we were a part of a bigger group. Language Line had been continuing that contract for us, even though the one with the county ended years and years ago. However, they are asking that we would update our contract. In doing that, I also looked into some additional companies, and we've gone with Language World because Language World, for several reasons. One is they are a local company. They work with districts around us. They provide in-person interpreters if we need them. They can do video or Zoom type interpreting, and they can do over the phone. We can schedule ahead of time. We can do on the go, like on the spot interpreting. Their prices are very reasonable. And looking at the three different main companies that I was looking at, so they offer a more expanded opportunity for us. Excuse me. They also do translation, which could help support some of our IEP translations that we need. So they offer a more expanded realm of things that they do, and they're very cost effective.
Any additional discussion or debate? Hearing none, we'll move forward to a vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Trustee Cardona.
Aye.
Trustee Divine.
Aye.
Trustee Barnes.
Aye.
Trustee Hamilton Starks.
Aye.
And Trustee Deleuze votes aye. Motion carries unanimously. Item F, approve 2026-27 Consultant and Professional Services Agreement for Informed K-12 MX Inc.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded.
Good evening, everyone. Informed K-12 is a SaaS provider or software as a service provider. What they do, they work with school districts to improve workflows and digitize processes, eliminating paper duplications, eliminating loss of documents, improve workflows, make things work smoother and more efficiently. They also give you the opportunity to have real-time observation of where a document is in the approval process. So if for example, if President Deleuze has submitted something and it's been a while, where is it? You can look and say, oh, it's sitting on Logan's desk, and you can say, hey, you got to move it along. A bit of an editorial comment. I've worked with them before. They're an amazing group. They're very collaborative. They will help us design the online forms, things such as travel reimbursements, conference requests, requisitions, and the first one we're looking at doing as kind of the pilot would be our travel and conference request.
So all this currently we do by
We do
paper?
By hand and by paper, yeah.
Wow, okay. All right, any discussion or debate? Hearing none, we'll move forward to a vote. Oh, yeah.
I think I have a comment. I was like, I think I mentioned this to Superintendent Chen. We have a lot of contracts, a lot of tools, it is a lot. And so I guess my question to you, or I guess my comment, would be that this is going to save time and money. And so would this remove the DocuSign process, or what is it going to replace? Or
it would replace, like we were just saying, it would replace doing everything by hand and by paper. It would replace, if I've submitted something and can't find it, having to duplicate it all over. It would replace me having to hunt down signatures and say, oh, you need to sign this, and it would just make everything flow more efficiently.
Being able to track things in an administrative process is Yeah.
I'm all for that.
Yeah,
I'm all
there
for
you
that.
go.
I was like, we just got a lot going on though,
Yeah.
so which one are we not gonna do anymore
Mhm.
so that we can do this one?
Okay.
Good question.
Any additional discussion or debate? Hearing none, we'll move forward to a vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Trustee Cardona.
Aye.
Trustee Divine.
Aye.
Trustee Barnes.
Aye.
Trustee Hamilton Starks.
Aye.
Trustee Deleuze votes aye. Motion carries unanimously. Item G, approve 2026-27 Consultant and Professional Services Agreement with Jocelyn, is it Micklemore? Sure, okay, we'll go with that.
So moved.
For guided language acquisition design GLAD training for Bell Avenue Elementary School.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion.
So last month, you all approved a contract for GLAD training for staff from Maine. This is the same thing, but for Bell.
And the reason why it is under action versus consent is we are contracting with Jocelyn Mitchellmore to provide this.
Right. And she's a new contractor?
Well,
different
she's not a new contractor. She has been providing the service at Bell for many years,
Mhm.
but this is now a contract directly with her.
Ah, okay. Got it,
Yes, versus the company. It's like independent.
got it.
It'll
All right.
cost the same amount.
Any additional discussion or debate?
So, how is this, well, I'm looking at the next item, item H, so, is item H in addition to, or could there have been some kind of savings with this?
They are different vendors and for different sites, and each site are at different phases in the GLAD implementation.
Okay, and so there's no way, that we can provide some kind of savings between all these, services? I'm looking for ways to save. And we're going with different vendors, it seems like. Is there a way that we can consolidate and save?
I think what we can do is I can absolutely work with the site administrators to see if there was one consultant that they feel comfortable with, but also the availability, right? I know I was able to watch Ms. Mitchellmore when she was here during the year, and I know their schedule is very tight. So we would have to plan ahead to ensure that, one, that the 3 sites that are implementing GLAD, right, that they will want training over the summer, and 2, organize that, and then 3, organize to make sure that the timing is aligned, and 3, do they all agree with the same consultant?
I think what I might strongly suggest is that we all do get on the same page, that we all are in line with the same strategy so that we don't have this duplication of services. And, you know, at some point, if everybody's GLAD trained using the same trainers, I think that's really great. And so hopefully we can get to that point where it's less of an option and more of an expectation.
If I may, I can give a little bit of clarification.
Please.
So Jocelyn Mitchell-Moore has been the trainer so far with another vendor, Regina, I can't think of her last name right now, but they have been, over the years, been our trainers. They originally are out of Orange County. Orange County runs the GLAD initiative, but they are now Northern California, and GLAD is growing and expanding, and that's also why the need for the expansion of not just the one trainer. The cost has to do with, there's 2 different trainings. They do an online training that happens after school, and then they do an actual site visit trainings. So the cost is pretty set per teacher. The phase that Darren is in is the next phase where they would come into the site and work with those GLAD trained teachers. So it's kind of 3 different levels, but the cost for one teacher to go through GLAD training is fixed.
So even if we were using all the same consultant, we'd still be paying the same amount?
We'd
because
still
it's
be
fixed.
paying the same amount. The only way that we would be paying a different amount would be, for example, last year, Jocelyn came in for this piece that's similar to what Darren is doing. She came into Bell to do that, and it was contracted different rate because it was another level of work. Also, as we have more schools that are, for example, Bell is a fully GLAD trained school. If you have a fully GLAD trained school, you can use your own school site to have that second piece of the training. But the GLAD program has a set cost for the training for teachers.
Okay. Any additional discussion or debate? Hearing none, we'll move forward to a vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Trustee Cardona?
Aye.
Trustee Divine?
Aye.
Trustee Barnes?
Aye.
Trustee Hamilton Starks?
Aye.
And Trustee Deleuze votes aye. Motion carries unanimously. Item H, approve 2026-27 Consultant Professional Services Agreement to be Glad LLC for Guided Language Acquisition Design GLAD training for at Robla Elementary School.
So moved. Second.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion?
This is just the same thing, but for Robla Elementary.
Okay, any additional discussion or debate? Hearing none, we'll move forward to a vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Trustee Cardona?
Aye.
Trustee Divine?
Aye.
Trustee Barnes?
Aye.
Trustee Hamilton Starks?
Aye.
And Trustee Deleuze votes aye. Item I, approve 2026 through 2029 Memorandum of Understanding with Colgate Palmolive Company.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion?
This is our new partnership to bring dental services, the dental van to each of our school sites next year. Very similar to Elica that's providing health services.
The Colgate Palmolive kind of threw me off. Either brushing their teeth or washing their mouth out with soap.
Or maybe both.
Okay. That threw me off. Anyway, is there any additional discussion or debate? Hearing none, we'll move forward to a vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Trustee Cardona?
Aye.
Trustee Divine?
Aye.
Trustee Barnes?
Aye.
Trustee Hamilton Starks?
Aye.
Trustee Deleuze votes aye. Motion carries unanimously. Item J, approve 2026-27 Memorandum of Understanding with Elica Health Services.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion?
Just welcome. Excited to continue the partnership with Elica to have a health van at each of our school sites next year. Rotating.
This year.
The
Any
26-27 school year.
There you go. Any additional discussion or debate?
This doesn't include the vision screenings.
They do provide that. But just for clarity, I know normally during this time, you request data from vision screening. That is a separate report from this service.
Yes. I'll mention that later.
Okay, any additional discussion or debate? Hearing none, we'll move forward to a vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Trustee Cardona?
Aye.
Trustee Divine?
Aye.
Trustee Barnes?
Aye.
Trustee Hamilton Starks?
Aye.
Trustee Deleuze votes aye. Motion carries unanimously. Item K, approve change orders number 1 through number 4 to Recreation Project Services, Inc. for the metal shade structure projects at Bell, Glenwood, Robla, and Taylor, number 1 through number 3, and fabric shade structure project at Taylor, which is number 4.
So moved.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Discussion.
Yes, so the superintendent earlier referred to the shade structure projects, and these are 4 change orders that are necessary for those projects, 3 for the metal project, metal structures, and 1 for the fabric. Number 1 is due to the change in the price of the steel needed to build the support columns. Number 2 is due to a change in the DSA requirement because of the type of footing that we're using. DSA made the decision to require us to dig the holes deeper. And number 3 is to paint the metal columns once the get here because we not know they did not come in. And number 4 is for the fabric structure at Taylor to replace the fabric that will be used in the structure itself.
Wait, what was that last part?
It's for the fabric structure at Taylor, and it's to replace the fabric that will be used in the actual structure.
Oh, okay.
All right, and let's start. We have public comment.
Yes, we do. Public comments coming from Maria. She states, I'm unclear what the difference between the work outlined to be done in this agenda item differs from the work outlined in item C in the consent agenda section. Can you please elaborate how they're different? In addition, I'm trying to understand why and how the decision was made to use ELP funds for this. Can you please explain the reasoning behind that decision? Thank you. End of comment.
So consent item C has to do with the requirement to have a DSA inspector, right, once this work gets started. So because we are, at a school, we are digging into the ground and we are providing an apparatus that will support something with our students, we are required to have a DSA inspector. Why that was under consent item? Because the current DSA inspector, MCF Foundation, which is Matt Fabian, he is our current inspector on the main project, and process-wise, current contracts that you had previously approved, right, are moved under consent. The second question was why ELOP funds, right? 2024, there was a conversation of how do we utilize the ELOP funds to enhance some of our outside learning environments. So providing shade structure or an apparatus or something like that, that will allow our after-school program providers, as well as our teachers, to extend the learning outside of the classroom and onto the playground area.
Can you also explain, because I had lots of questions too, like, oh my gosh, where's the shade structures at? We've been talking about this for a long time. I have the same question, so can you talk a little bit about the project delay and kind of why we have all these additional expenses that have come with this particular project? Because just like everybody else is watching, I had some questions.
It's been 2 long years. So when we first had a discussion regarding expanding and enhancing our outdoor learning environment, this was in June 2024, right? We had that discussion, the contract was approved. July 2024, July 1, 2024, this DSA requirements had changed, right? And so the plans, the DSA plans of what we were going to install met the requirements of June 2024, and they're called pre-check plans, right? Those requirements changed, and our pre-checked plan that was approved in June 2024 no longer met some of the new requirements through DSA. So we initially had to go through the entire process, going through DSA, ensuring that what we were going to install meets all the new requirements. One of it, for an example, is how deep we have to go down into the ground to install the poles. So this is just an example, not the exact, but originally we might have to go 10 feet down, and now we are required to go, I think it's 18 feet down. So the original pre-check plan didn't have the 18 requirement, which we now have to be in compliance with because we are after July 1, 2024. So it has been a very 2 years long process. So.
And the reason why it's taken 2 years is because DSA has taken 2 years.
No. So when we submit a pre-check process, when we submit a pre-check plan, we already know they are pre-approved because it meets all the requirements. And so once we pass the date of where that pre-check is no longer, I'm going to say meets allowable, right? We have to adjust and make adjustments to our plans, and then it kind of starts over. Like, okay, here's what we planned. Now we have to add ABC, right? Then you're going to the entire process of being DSA approved.
Yeah, and that's the part that has extended it so long. Okay.
Yes, and a little bit longer because we could not order for the metal shade structure, we could not order the design unless it was DSA approved, which we just got approval.
And I ask that because it's not that we were sitting around, wasting time on, this. It was that we were waiting for this approval.
Any additional discussion or debate?
What is, what's the ETA for construction to begin on this project? Or do we have to wait another 2 years?
No, I was excited, as I shared, for the fabric shade structure. That's going to start September 2nd at Glenwood, and then I think September 28th. We do not have a schedule yet for the metal shade structure. We don't have that yet because they are in production. So once we know that they are in production, meeting all the new DSA requirements, then that company will give us a schedule.
Question, public comment?
I had a question because I thought we had the facilities master plan meeting with all the boards and everything, that shade structures were on there, or they were tacked on late. And I just want to know if this is separate from that, or was it included? And then under all of that, is Mr. Hickey's company overseeing any of this? And is his fee included in any of the budget items that are being approved?
I will say that Mr. Hickey has been part of what we call OAC meetings, owner, architect, construction, or the company. I would have to confirm and get back if his fee is associated with this. Oh, Mr. Martin.
No, I will confirm it, but as to my knowledge, off the top of my head, it is not.
So it was, in a sense of ensuring that it was a priority, right? And so the conversations throughout the summer were pushing it because we emphasized to the company that we are, I can't think of the name of the company that we're working, that this was part of our facilities master plan. It was moved up. It is a priority, so.
Any additional discussion or debate? Hearing none, we'll move forward to a vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Trustee Cardona?
Aye.
Trustee Devine?
Aye.
Trustee Barnes?
Aye.
Trustee Hamilton Starks?
Aye.
Trustee Deleuze votes aye. Motion carries unanimously. Item L, approved 2026-27 Consultant Professional Services Agreement with EMC Consulting and Construction for Robla Preschool Play Structure Removal.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion.
So earlier this evening, the superintendent talked about removing one of the play structures from the preschool, excuse me, and replacing it with more age-appropriate and developmentally appropriate structures. This is the contract to have the current structure.
Is there any discussion or debate?
How old is that current structure? It says due to age.
We will have to get back to you on that. That has been there for
Oh, okay, then never mind.
more than 20 years.
If you,
I was just trying to find out if it was put up when the school was remodeled, and if so, if we could find a different type of structure that would last longer, but never mind, 20 years is long enough.
can you describe the timeline? The timeline.
Timeline.
Oh, the timeline for removal is very quick. It's only going to take, I believe, 2 days once this is approved. But the timeline to plan the rubber field and the rubber ground and move the age-appropriate devices on, that's to be determined. But the first thing we want to do is make sure that we remove that play structure. Currently, the play structure sits on bark, right, which we want to remove that, especially for that area. So We either replace the bark and ensure that the borders around the play structure are safe, or we remove the whole thing, and we decided to remove the whole thing and replace it.
And this does not have to go through DSA and will not take 2 years.
The removal of the play structure does not.
The replacement of the play structure?
That will be a further discussion as this plan goes.
All right. Any additional discussion or debate? Hearing none, we'll move forward to a vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Trustee Cardona? Aye. Trustee Divine?
Aye.
Trustee Barnes?
Aye.
Trustee Hamilton Starks? Aye. Trustee Deleuze votes aye. Motion carries unanimously. Now we'll move on to board member requests for future agenda items or reports. Trustee Cardona?
No request.
No requests. Okay, Trustee Divine?
Nothing this time, but I would like to let our families and students know to have a great year, and I look forward to everything.
Trustee Barnes?
My annual request for data on vision screenings, of course. And you know, this is near and dear to me because I actually found out I needed glasses through one of these screenings. And actually, my daughter did not, we did not find out because that she needed glasses through. So these are important. So I would also love to know more about how our teachers are trained to look for issues, and also information about what we can provide to parents to look for issues, because they can always get screened. But, you know, we want to make sure that that we know what to look for so that people can get screened, and really important stuff. Oh, and I'll take this opportunity to say thank you to everyone who has made comments tonight. It's really important, and we need to hear from people. So thank you to everyone.
Trustee Hamilton Starks?
I don't know if it should be an agenda item or in the Monday report, but I would like to know the findings of when you investigate the after-school program challenges that they've had, either in the report or in the
And I do not have anything at this time. And moving on, next board meeting is going to be Thursday, August 20th, 2026, 5:30. So a closed session will start. 6:30 will be public session right here in the Robla District boardroom. And with that, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you so much for everyone who's here in attendance and everyone who watched online.